So the next question is, can I get in and out of horses?
I love this question because the answer is a resounding yes. Yes, you can. You can get in and out at any age, at any stage, and for any period of time. One of the most beautiful things about horses is there is no time limit.
Welcome to Elevate Your Ride, the podcast dedicated to elevating your performance in the saddle. I'm Ellie, your personal trainer.
And I'm Lauren, your mindset coach.
Today, we have a couple of listener questions that we wanted to go over for you guys. We've had a couple people send in some great questions, so we're going to go over the ones that we think are most relevant to all of you guys. So, the very first one that we have was, my horse was recently injured. How do I create other goals during his recovery to help me stay highly motivated? So, we'll talk a little bit about fitness wise, but first we'll talk about what you can do mindset wise. So, Lauren, what advice would you have for this person?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is something that a lot of us experience, having our hopes and dreams set for the whole year. And then we come out to the barn and our horse is a little off, and we find out that we're going to have 6 months of rehab, maybe longer. And we're immediately think, oh my gosh, what do I do? And it's really easy to become overwhelmed and unsure of what to do with your time, with your horse, with your goals that you had worked so hard to maybe be on the cusp of achieving. And so, a really great thing to do in that moment is just pause. We don't need to come up with the entire plan for the next 6 months or however long the process is in one day. The best thing that you can do is go and spend time talking to your vet. Fully understand the situation that your horse is going to be going through. Know what the steps are and the process required for that horse to be completely healed in order to get you back on track for your original goals. So once you've sat down with your vet and you have a really good understanding as to what is expected of you to be able to help your horse do better, then it's time to reevaluate the goals that you had set forth already for the year. If your horse is going to be out for a very extended period of time, well, then let's reframe those goals to things that you can do on a limited basis. We can do a ton of visualization during this time. What a better reason to be imagining the great things that you and your horse can accomplish than right now when you can't be riding it. And as we've talked about before in previous episodes, visualization can actually develop the neural pathways in your brain that are very similar to actually doing the event. So spending this time imagining yourself doing the trail, doing the reining, doing the horsemanship or the showmanship with your horse in great detail will make it so much better once you do actually get onto your horse and be able to be back riding again. Another thing that you can do mentally is, you know, stay involved. If there's a local horse club that you can be a part of, take the extra time that you would have spent going to horse shows or training and go volunteer. Work the back gate. Get to know your fellow competitors. And even better, maybe go figure out how to scribe. Some of these horse shows that you have been dying to go to, maybe you can go and work them and find a way to get paid to be there and to learn. Because being a scribe is only going to make you a better showman when it comes time, because you're going to learn what judges are looking for. You're going to be able to see the perspective of where the judge would be sitting. Like, it's a great time to be able to still get your kind of horse show fix, but then expand your knowledge base. If you don't have the ability or time to do any of those things, there's a beautiful thing called a live stream. Watch every major event that you possibly can. get inspired and continue to kind of fuel that competitive spirit that you have. Watch YouTube videos, maybe join some other disciplines training courses. I know that I've talked about how I used to be a member of Amelia Newcomb Dressage. I used to be a member of Clinton Anderson's Down Under Horsemanship. Maybe find a way to go learn other things about horses that will make you just a more well rounded individual. This would also be just a great time to take a step back and evaluate what you can do personally to be better physically for your horse while your horse is recovering physically. What do you think?
Yeah, first I want to dive into a little bit of what you talked about. So I think that you are 100% right that if your horse gets injured and once your horse is, done with recovery, you want to get right back into the show pen, right? Like if that's your mindset, then you need to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success mentally and physically to get there. So if your horse gets injured and you don't go out to the barn for 6 months because your horse is injured, like if you're not there present with the barn, grooming your horse, just spending time with your horse is so valuable. And you can take that time when your horse is injured, you can still go out and spend time with your horse. Like, I think that sometimes people get this mentality of when the horse gets injured, that means that they have like a 6 month break. Like it's almost like the or however long the time period is, but don't look at that time as like a black hole. Like, don't get sucked into having a pity party. I mean, like, oh, woe is me. My horse is hurt. My goals are getting pushed off. Like, watch yourself of not getting into that victim mentality of like, oh, poor me, my horse. Well, like do what you can to get better during that time. Take that time to say, okay, like what are things that I can be doing to get better? Like you said, the scribing thing, I think is such a great idea. So, like, if you're somebody like me who maybe doesn't read the rule book very
Yes.
often, and honestly, I I'm not very good at like knowing what a +2 versus a +1 is, or that sort of stuff. I don't really know. I'm not very well versed in like how many points different penalties are. If I was riding a horse and I had goals and the horse got injured and I needed to take some time off, I totally would go and be interested in being a scribe or working a back gate because that would give me a little bit more knowledge in an area that I've kind of lacked in because I just haven't seen it as much of a priority. So use that time effectively to get better at the things that you've kind of been avoiding or maybe aren't that great at already. And then as far as like the fitness side of it, sit down and have a talk with your trainer and say, okay, I want you to be open and honest with me. Where are the areas in my body that you want to see get stronger over this time period, not get weaker? Because again, sometimes when the horse gets injured, sometimes that means you're not riding for that entire period of time. Maybe you're not in a barn where there's other horses that you can ride, or maybe you're not in a location where you can go take a couple lessons with another trainer. Right? Like it'd be great if you could, it'd be great if you could keep riding other horses. That's also going to give you the added experience, added benefit of going and riding something else. I think it's so great. If you can ride as many horses as you can, the better. But if you're not able to do that, sit down, have a talk with your trainer, ask them, where do you want me to get stronger? Because if you don't go ride for however long your horse is injured, you're going to come back unfit just as much as your horse is. And that's not setting you up for success. If you have had some trouble maybe with like getting your heels down or your legs don't feel quite strong enough, or maybe your posture isn't that great, like pick a couple, maybe like 2 to 3 areas that you and your trainer both agree on you need to improve on for you, not necessarily your horse, but for you. Then go and take the time to fix those things. That way, when your horse gets off rehab and is ready for you, you're actually better and ready for the horse. Like, I just really want to highlight that, like, horses getting injured is not always the worst thing ever. You can either look at that and say, you know what, like, this sucks. I'm just going to be really sad about it this whole time and I'm not going to get any further along, or you can have a little bit more of a growth mindset, a little bit more of a positive mindset and say, how can I make myself better during this time?
Yeah, absolutely. Use it as an opportunity for growth and kind of some
Yeah.
self reflection. And I think you'll really be thankful that you did at the end of that 6 months because you'll be like 2 steps backwards, 10 steps forwards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So the next question that we had was from someone who got injured and fell off the workout train. They asked, how do I build myself back up to where I was? I'm so discouraged. I struggle hard with staying balanced, but I work out all the time. What is something I can add to my routine to feel more balanced?
Yeah. So now we're kind of getting into the question of, okay, now I'm injured. And, injuries are so hard because when you get injured, it depends on the injury, right? But you probably need to take at least some time off. Now, I'm of the mindset that, like, just because you injure your leg doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do some stuff with like your upper body, right? Like, if you injure your leg, you might not want to be doing like standing exercises, but maybe you can do stuff on your back. Maybe you can do something seated. Like, there's truly very few injuries that you can't do absolutely anything with. Like, I have had many clients with many injuries over the years, and there's been very, very few times that we've had to say, like, we just can't work out at all. We just need to wait for your body to heal. So it kind of depends on your situation. But if you're in the situation where you can't do anything at all, and then it's time to get back into it, you need to look back because I've been there, right? Like when I very first injured my back, I couldn't walk for 2 weeks. I couldn't exercise for 6 months. I couldn't ride for 6 months. Like I've been there. And when I got back into it, the main thing that I had to focus on was going slow. And like I wanted mentally to go back to where I was before I was injured. And I had to come to the realization and accept that that was never going to happen. Like my injury, my accident was 5 years ago, actually, like right now, 5 years ago. And I will never be the same the way that I was before. Like there has not been a day in those past 5 years that have gone by that I have not had pain in my back.
Yep.
So I have had to change how I exercise and what I focus on and my expectations of my own body. So I think that you need to alter your expectations to meet what is realistic for you. If you were in the gym consistently 5 days a week and you were lifting really heavy weights and you were really consistent and really strong, when you get back into that workout routine, you can't have those old expectations of yourself. So making sure that your expectations are realistic, I think, is the most important piece of it. As far as like building yourself back up to where you were before, you just have to start small. And if you built yourself up to that point once, think back to how you did it in the very beginning. You didn't go from point A to point B in a month. You know what I mean? Like if you've built up where you're really strong and you're really fit, think about how long that took you to get there. And while it's probably not going to take you quite as long to get there, it's still going to take time to get back to where you were. And you might never get back there. And that's okay too. But as far as like building yourself back up there, like how you actually do that, anytime you come off of an injury, you really need to focus on your basics. You need to focus on your balance, your control, your stability, your mobility, like all the things that are staples in my program. You have to focus on those when you're coming back from an injury, because if you don't, if you skip right on past the base of the pyramid, you're not going to have a strong base of support. And if you go right back into lifting those heavy weights, you're going to get injured again. Maybe in the same place, maybe in a different place. It might not happen right away, but I can guarantee you that you're going to get injured again if you don't take the time to go back to the basics. It's the same thing as horses. Think about, if you have a world champion Western pleasure horse that gets injured and then they're off for 6 months or maybe even longer, and they come back to it, the trainer's not going to get back on day 1 or day 3 or day 5 and expect the horse to be right back where they were. Like think about anytime a horse comes back from rehab. You're starting off with hand walking. You're starting off with some in-hand work. You're starting off with jogging for 5 minutes. You're starting off with loping for a minute. Like think about how your vet and your trainer kind of builds that horse's stamina and fitness and their stability back up. Treat yourself the same. So that's what I would do there. And then as far as struggling with feeling balanced when you work out, if you struggle with feeling balanced when you work out, hate to tell you, you need to set the weights down and you need to take a look at your body. This is where a coach really, really is probably essential. This is really hard to evaluate on your own, especially if you don't have any previous knowledge about kinesiology or how the body works or anything like that. It's going to be really, really hard for you to identify the areas that you're weak and then what exercises are proper and necessary to fix that stability and your balance. So that's where a coach, you don't have to work with them long term, but you could work with a coach to evaluate you, tell you what you need, and then give you a program to go and do on your own. That's something that I offer. Right. Like if somebody comes to me and they literally just need a plan that's customized to them, I will do that. I will meet with them, build them a plan, and then send them off on their own. They don't have to keep coming back and doing the personal training sessions. And most personal trainers will offer that. So that's something that I probably would recommend doing. But if you don't go back to the basics and work on the balance and work on the stability piece, doesn't matter how many weights you lift, it's not going to get any better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can speak to this because earlier this year, I was injured, I was out of shape, and Ellie was very diligent on the plan that we had in order to make sure that I would come back stronger than I was before and be able to, accommodate those injuries that I had. And I mean, here we are in April, and I feel like just the last time we worked out, you were like, "Hey, this is working. I can tell that you're getting stronger. You seem more balanced and all of that." But at the beginning, it was really hard for me because we had to take so many steps backwards, and it felt
Yeah.
like I was failing. But in the long run, like I feel like we're almost back to where we want to be there. And it's like, okay, it was worth sticking to the plan, doing it right,
Yeah.
because everything feels very healthy. Because now every time when we start our session, you say, how's your shoulder feel? How's your back feel? How's your hip feel? How's your knee feel? How's your toe feel? Other than the toe,
Everything.
which was a broken bone, which we can't
Yeah.
necessarily do
I can't do
anything
anything
about.
about that, yeah.
But all the other stuff, I'm like, actually, it's great. It's great. It's great. And it's because we put in the time to take care of it and do it right. So I think,
Yeah, it took almost 6 months
yeah.
of consistent work
Woof.
where, and it was hard work, right? Like, I kinda had to be on you to like, "Hey, we're not ready for the heavier weight. Hey, you need to make sure that you are doing your mobility, your foam rolling, your stability work. You have to slow down your exercises." Like,
Right.
that was, I think, really hard for you mentally because you have always been one of my most fit, if not my most fit clients. Like there's so many areas that you are way more fit than I am even. And so I'm sure it was really, really hard for you to take that many steps backward.
You
But think about where you would be if we hadn't done that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I've been in a lot of pain. So,
A lot of pain. And maybe that would be hindering you and actually keeping you out of the pen. Like it might not have been pain that you could have pushed through, right? Because there's different types of pain. There's pain that you're willing to push through and pain that you can't push through. And I know that you're a tough cookie and you probably would have just kept pushing through until you were completely broken. And
exactly. And we
so
well, so
I
there's
am really proud of you for taking that time to step back and listen and truly, truly listen to what I told you because I can write you the perfect program, but if you don't believe in it and if you don't truly follow it, then sorry, not sorry. It's not going to benefit you.
right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in to Elevate Your Ride. We're so excited to continue helping you elevate your performance in the saddle. To keep bringing you quality content and information, we're asking you to help us. Tell your friends about us on our podcast, like and share a meaningful quote you saw on our social media, write us a review on Spotify or Facebook. You can also join our Facebook group and ask all your health and fitness questions, or maybe post a success story to motivate another amateur. Your engagement really helps us support and encourage the equestrian community. We're also inviting sponsors and supporters to help us build our show. As a sponsor, starting at just $150, you'll receive marketing on our podcast, website, and growing social media platforms for your business. It's the perfect way to connect with the equestrian community and showcase your brand to our dedicated listeners. And for our supporters, your $50 contribution gets you a shout out on our social media and website. Every bit of support really helps fuel the show and helps us inspire and motivate equestrians. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can scroll down to the show notes of this episode and look for the become a supporter or become a sponsor links and click on those to get some more information. Thank you for listening. We can't wait to continue expanding our platform and helping you elevate your ride.
Hey, Elevate Your Ride fans. Are you loving our show and looking for a way to show your support? Check out our line of Elevate Your Ride merchandise. From stylish t shirts to cozy hoodies to journals and hats, we have everything you need to represent your favorite podcast. Ready to gear up? Click on the Buy Our Merchandise Here link in the podcast notes, or head on over to our website, elevateyourride.co, and click on the Store tab. Thank you for your support. Make sure to like, follow, and share our platform with your friends.
We're going to move on to our next listener question. Horses are our whole identity. When you hang up your spurs, how do you navigate what's next? Oh, this is a tough question.
It really is, right? Because there's so many elements to this. And sometimes it's our choice to hang up our spurs, and sometimes it's not. And so, those are two different ways of looking at it. So, first, let's dive into a little bit of if it's not our choice to hang up our spurs, maybe financially, we can't afford to keep going down the road the way that we used to. Maybe we were blessed to have parents that paid for it. And then once we graduated from college, we were on our own and we have to go get adult jobs and can't have horses yet. Maybe we got hurt and we can't ride anymore. There's so many different things that can happen that maybe take away a little bit of that dream of being able to have the horses and the horse showing goals that we have basically spent our whole life chasing. And so a big part of this is to allow yourself some space to grieve, because it almost is like having a death in the family, right? Because those dreams that you have are something that you think and thought about constantly. And so to just tell yourself, well, yep, that's it. It's over. I'm never going to think about it again is really, really unfair. And I think a great thing that you can do is to acknowledge that it was important to you and then find something else to be excited about. I think the hard part is a lot of us spend all of our free time at the barn, at horse shows, trying to make sure that we have enough finances and resources and things to be able to go to these horse shows. So we don't really have a lot of things that we're maybe interested in or capable of. But this is a great opportunity to tell yourself, you know what, I'm going to go be a beginner at something again. Because if we have been doing horses for a long time, we have spent countless hours dedicating ourselves to the craft and learning and becoming better. Well, that's a personality trait that we all possess, of wanting to be challenged, wanting to improve, and maybe have a little bit of a competition streak in there, right? So find something that will feed a lot of those areas for you. That could be pickleball. That's becoming a really big deal.
That's literally what I had in mind. I was literally just going to say pickleball. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe find a sport. I mean, Ellie does soccer.
Yep.
Find something where there's a group league where you can have something that you maybe aren't great at, but you can work on getting better at. Something you can have a little bit of competition, and something that you can have that social aspect, because realistically, business is a very, very social thing for us. And so being able to have somebody or a group to say, hey, I'll see you next week, that's so exciting and so needed. Somebody to come and say, hey, how has your week been? Right. It just kind of makes you feel like you have a little bit more of a purpose. Now, if it's
I 100% totally agree. So I actually think that it's really important because horses, we make them our entire lives, right? Like my entire career is based off of the horse industry. Like one, my fitness business, and then two, this podcast. And then so when you add in horse showing and going into the barn on top of it, it is so easy to let your entire life be consumed by horses. And I think that if you let your entire life get consumed by horses, then it's so much harder to find your purpose when you have to hang up the spurs or when the spurs get hung up for you. So while I think it's really important to be passionate and to be driven and to put 100% energy towards horses, I think that it's also really important to make sure that you have things that you're excited about and passionate about outside of horses. So, for example, like Lauren said, I play soccer. And I'm not, like we've talked about in the Relentless book, I'm not a cleaner at soccer, right? I maybe, what are the other two lower
Ye
levels?
A closer or a cooler.
Okay.
You're definitely not a cooler.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a cooler. So I'm probably more of like a closer at soccer. Like I played for 12 years. I know what I'm doing. I know how to go kick around a ball, but I go and I do that for fun as a fun cardio activity with my husband. Like it's something that we just go and do for fun. Like we don't have any interest in going and playing for a team. Like I don't really have an interest in getting better at it. It's just something fun that he and I can go and do together. And I have the added bonus that going and increasing my cardio and my sprinting, because I actually think that sprinting type cardio is probably better than just a long run for equestrian. I actually do get the added benefit that it actually helps me in like the showmanship. You know what I mean? So there's that piece to it. But I think that you need to have, I think that it's important to have your main hobby and then have like a little bit of like a side hobby that you're not quite as passionate about, that you don't really have that many goals in, because I don't think you want to spread yourself too thin, right? Like I
Yeah,
wouldn't want to have this goal of like going and playing soccer like professionally on top of horse showing. Like that's not a good idea. But like having something that you go and do just for fun for you outside of horses, I think is really important, because if horses go away, you need to be able to stand up on your own and still have happiness and still have a purpose. Because horses can be taken away from anybody at any
right.
given time, right? Like if horses were taken away from you today, you could never go out to the barn ever again. You would want to be able to stand up on your own.
Yeah, I think so too, and I'm a little bit guilty of letting horses become my entire identity, right?
It's
Uh,
hard not to.
yeah, and I am working really hard of for me, the big thing is trying to make friends outside of horses, so then I can be grounded and remember that, hey, maybe it's just as exciting to go watch your friend's kid go play a soccer game, right? And that we can have just daily life activities be exciting. And I struggle with that because I just want to be so obsessed with this crazy thing called horse showing and learning all that I possibly can about bringing my young ones along, right? It's something I have to constantly tell myself. It's okay to be obsessed, but don't let it be your whole identity.
Mhm. Yeah, you can be obsessed without having it be your entire identity. You can have it make up a large piece of it, but if you let it make up the whole thing, you're not setting yourself up for success. And,
No.
like I said, with the soccer, it's a fun thing that I look forward to going and doing, but it also has the added benefit of it actually does make me better in the showmanship.
Right.
So, Lauren, maybe you need to pick up pickleball or soccer.
I've really thought about it, and they are building.
Okay, that's your goal. That's my goal for you now. I need you, or I want you to pick up a social sport that is literally just for fun.
They're building a pickleball court in Bernie, so I'm really excited. So,
Okay, so Lauren is going to sign up for pickleball and we will update you guys.
we'll see how athletic I am. All right. So, the next question that we want to dive into is this listener has been working out consistently for a couple years, but they're getting bored with their at home gym routine and have access to a lot of group classes like yoga, hot yoga, Pilates, spin, and barre. What is the best thing to incorporate to help me stay entertained with my current workout schedule?
I'm so sorry, but this person is probably not going to like my answer so much. Your workout routine is not there to keep you entertained. It is there because it is a necessity for daily life and a necessity to be a competitor. And I think that if you look at your workout routine that way and have more of a respect for what it's doing for you, then you don't need your workouts to be entertaining for you. If you're doing the workouts and you're using them as a form of entertainment, I'd rather you do that than not exercise at all, right? But like, if you're at the point in your fitness where you need your routine to change up often because you're getting bored with it, then one of two things is wrong. Either the routine is not working for you and you're not seeing results, and that's why you're getting bored and feel like you need to change things up, or you don't actually respect the routine and what it's doing for you. And so you just want to change things up just because, it can't keep your mind occupied enough. So I think that if you can say to yourself that you've truly dedicated the time and the effort to your routine and you're truly not seeing the results out of it that you want, then it is time to change it up. But if you haven't given yourself the time and the dedication and you're not sure if it's actually benefiting you because you haven't actually committed to it, then commit to it and then go from there. Now, if you hate your routine so much that you're just straight up not going to do it, then that's not good either. Doing something will always be better than doing nothing. So if you can't commit emotionally to a routine, then going and taking a bunch of random classes is going to be good for you because at least then you're getting an exercise, right? Like you don't want to throw up your hand. Like if you're listening to me and you're just like, oh, well, I'm just going to throw up my hands and I can't do it anymore. It's just too much. And Ellie's saying that I have to love my routine and it can never change. That's not exactly what I'm saying. You want your routine to evolve as you evolve with your routine, but that doesn't mean that it completely gets changed all of the time. Now, that being said, I think variety is really important and really good, and something that I've actually been trying really, really hard to implement in my own routine and with my clients more and more in the last year or two. Because I think that if you just strength train, or if you just do yoga, or if you just do Pilates, or if you just do cardio, like you're limiting your athletic ability to whatever the thing is that you're only doing. So I think that it's hard because we're busy and we realistically can't work out 5 days a week for an hour. I don't have time to do that, quite honestly. I do my best, but I don't actually have time for that. Nobody does. We're busy. We need to make money to be able to afford to do horses. Nobody's got time for that. You know what I mean? So I think that you need to look at your goals and you need to prioritize what's most important to you. If the most important thing to you is to get stronger, okay, then make strength training the majority of your workout, but don't make it your entire workout routine. If you want to get stronger and you can only work out 3 days a week, strength train 2 days a week, and go do something else that third day of the week. Don't make that third day strength training because you don't want to overtrain a specific area. Your body is not going to receive that very well. Your body needs variety, just like horses, right? Like if you have a horse that is a horsemanship horse, and if you only ever do horsemanship with that horse, you never tried trail, you never tried the pleasure, you never tried the English, like you never branch out and do something else, you're limiting that horse's ability to be able to go and do that event better. Would you agree with that, Lauren?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that trying different things, not only might you figure out that they're actually really good at something else, but like for me at this horse show, I am participating in the trail. I don't plan on showing at the trail at the world show, but by adding the trail, it is making my horsemanship and my eck 1,000 times better because it's
Yes.
forcing me to kind of focus on different areas of control and handiness that, I kind of overlooked when I was doing other things.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. So it's the same thing with your fitness. You need variety, but you can't, you might not also see results if you only have variety. If you work out 4 days a week and one day you're running, the next day you're doing Pilates, the next day you're strength training, and then the next day you're doing yoga, like that might be a little bit too much variety. Like I said, you need to pick one thing that you really want to prioritize and that you want to get better at, and then make that the majority, but then leave a little bit of variety. You know what I mean? Like maybe make one thing 60 to 75%, but then leave the rest of that percentage for other things.
And then one thing is this listener said that they have a home gym. So you probably
Yes.
have access to whatever music you want to play and whatever movie or TV show that you want to put on. So maybe
Yeah.
allow that to be your quote unquote entertainment while you are sticking to a workout routine that works for you. Tell yourself, I
Yes.
am only going to watch Ted Lasso when I'm working out, or I'm only going to listen to Elevate Your Ride when I'm working out, right? Have it be something that's exciting that makes you be like, oh, I really want to watch or listen to this thing. So I better get in the gym and start lifting those weights.
Yes, I 100% agree. If you find that you're literally just getting bored and like you're looking for other things to do while you're working out, while I mainly work out from home, sometimes it can be a little bit challenging to work out from home if you're not committed to your exercise and if you're not quote unquote entertained by your workout, because then you're going to see the pile of laundry in the corner and you're going to think, oh, well, I need to go do that. So I'm going to throw that in really quick and then I'm going to go finish my workout. And then while you're putting the laundry in, you might say, oh, I left my lunch out on the counter. I should put that away. And then you put that away. And then when you're walking upstairs, you're like, oh, but I need a glass of water. And then while you're looking in the fridge, you're like, oh, but I'm kind of hungry. You know what I mean? Like it can be really easy to get distracted. That's why I said earlier, you need to respect your workout routine. Because if you respect your workout routine and what it's doing for you, you're not going to get distracted and you're not going to let excuses dictate when and where you do or don't do your workout. So, working out from home is great if you have one, enough discipline, but two, enough. I don't know quite what the right term is, but I do think that what you mentioned is actually a really good idea. That if you feel like you're getting bored from your workouts, add in another piece that's going to make you not bored. Watch a movie, listen to a podcast, aka Elevate Your Ride.
Mhm.
Like, I actually think that that's a pretty good idea if you find that you're just getting bored. And like, I'd rather you watch a movie and not be 100% focused on your workout than not do your workout at all. So pick and choose your battles.
Yeah, love it. Are you looking for that extra competitive edge, struggling with show pin anxiety, or looking to set and achieve meaningful goals with your horse? Schedule a session with me, Lauren, your dedicated mindset coach. As an experienced competitor, I understand the mental demands required to excel at the highest level, and am here to support you in building a plan to help you stay accountable and reaching those goals. For more information, check out laurencervelli.com or click on the website link in our show notes. Let's work together to elevate your ride.
Hi, everyone. It's your personal trainer, Ellie. If you're looking to become a stronger, more balanced, and flexible rider, I'm here to help. I offer virtual personal training sessions and customized workout plans that you can complete on your own. As a fellow competitor, I understand the physical demands riding requires, and my goal is to help you perform your best for your horse, whether you're preparing for a show or just want to improve your everyday rides. Visit lopindowntherailfitness.com or click on my website tab in the notes of this podcast episode to learn more. Let's work together to elevate your ride. So, the next question is, can I get in and out of horses?
I love this question because the answer is a resounding yes. Yes, you can. You can get in and out at any age, at any stage, and for any period of time. One of the most beautiful things about horses is there is no time limit. For those of us that showed as youth, it felt like there was a time limit, right? It felt like, oh my gosh, I only have until I'm 18 years old to accomplish all my hopes and dreams. And if I don't, then it's the end of the world. But let me tell you, when I was 18, by the time I was 18, did I accomplish the things that I wanted to? No. When I turned 19, did my world end? No. It actually opened up and got so much better and so much more fun with the horses because I realized that the more time I give to it and the older I get, I have become a better horseman because it's not just about a certain phase. It's about just building knowledge. And some of that knowledge too just comes from life experiences, becoming more patient, becoming more understanding, like just having a grasp on figuring out how to just do things. And I think that's so exciting because if you need to get out of horses for whatever period, you can still stay in quote unquote involved, like we talked about earlier, by, scribing or watching film or joining some of these clubs and just kind of listening. Or there's so many podcasts that you can just kind of listen to and stay up to date and stuff. But you can jump back in and seriously accomplish all of your dreams. One of my friends who I had sold a horse to, she hadn't shown in over 20 years. And she had kind of like ridden a little bit still, but she hadn't shown. And she decided that she wanted to get back into it, bought a horse, and ended up winning the NSBA World a year later. Like, it's so exciting and possible that you can come back at any point in time. Another example is my grandparents are in their 80s and they still show cutting horses. So there is no time limit on this. You can still compete at whatever level you want to whenever that time comes. Or if you don't want to compete again, you can just go buy a trail horse and go trail riding, because there are so many beautiful places that you can see on horseback that still allow you to enjoy the horse experience. So if you need to or want to get out for a little while, you can come back and everyone will welcome you back with open arms. Because as much as you think that Dear Rodeo song by Cody Johnson is an accurate depiction of the horse show world, like, yeah, it might keep moving, but they won't forget you. They will be excited to have you come back and say, hey, Ellie, hey, Lauren, haven't seen you in a bit. What's been going on? We're really, really happy to have you here. So definitely don't be afraid to get out and come back.
I think the horse industry as a whole is actually really welcoming. And uh, at least the people that I'm surrounded by in
Yeah.
the horse industry are honestly pretty welcoming.
Yeah. So
And I think that if I said to my trainer and to my barn and to my client, like, hey, I'm going to step back and totally not do the horse industry thing for, I don't know, a couple years. Like maybe I decide I want to go have babies and maybe I decide I want to go do other things with my life. That's not happening. I mean, I do want that at some point, but still
yeah.
going to stay in, right? Um, but I don't think anybody would look me up and down and say, that's your decision. That's what you're going to do. Like, I think you should do X, Y, Z. Nobody's going to look at you and say that to you. And if they do
No.
say that to you, sorry, you don't need them in your life. You can say bye bye.
Right.
Like surrounding yourself with good people, I think is really, really important. And if you've done that, then they're going to be supportive of you and they're going to say, what can I do for you during this time period? Do you want to go try another discipline? Do you want to go come to this horse show? Do you want to completely just step back and not be involved in it at all? Like people around you will care about you and what you want to do and what's
Mm.
best for you. Stepping out of the horse industry for a while is what's best for you. Then you shouldn't feel guilt about that. If it's truly what's best for you, then you should do that. And I think that you can leave the horse industry and come back. So when I first got hurt, I thought about the getting rid of everything. So I was in kind of an interesting situation. So I got hurt from I guess he was 3 at the time, my 3-year-old. And then I actually ended up having to sell him before I could get better. So I never got to like see any of my goals, any of my dreams with that horse be fulfilled. I never got to show him. I never got to I didn't get to live the dream at all with him. And that was really hard for me to be okay with, on top of the fact that I was injured and I had no idea. I mean, when I first got injured, they told me I might not ride again. Like that was that experience was almost enough to make me want to walk away. Like, one, the trauma of getting hurt, two, actually being hurt, and then three, having to sell the horse. Like, that was, and it was during COVID. So there was a lot going on. I called up my best friend who's also in the horse industry, but she's in a different discipline. She rides dressage. And I called her and I said, I think I want to sell everything. I think I never want to go back to the barn. I want to do something else with my life. I don't want to do this anymore. And she said, okay, if that's what you want to do, I'll help you. I'll be there for you. And it actually kind of shocked me that that's the reaction that she had. I was kind of expecting her to be like, "No, like, you're thinking too rashly." Like, she actually listened to me, understood where I was coming from, and was like, "Okay, that's what you need, then do it." And, she recommended maybe don't sell everything because, I'd probably
Mhm.
change my mind. And I'm actually glad that I listened to her because I literally thought about selling literally everything. Um, and I'm glad that I didn't, but I also let myself think that that could be a possibility. Like, I think that if I didn't let myself think that that could be a possibility, then I think I would have been more bitter coming back into the horses, if that makes sense. Like, I
Yeah.
think that if I hadn't let myself get to that low point of actually thinking about leaving, I think I would have had, yeah, just more bitterness, more regrets when I actually did get to come back. And so when I came back, I actually went to a whole new barn, and started riding with new people. And I sometimes a change of environment and a change of scenery is maybe what you need
Mm.
instead of getting out of it entirely. And it turns out that that is what I needed. But I took a 6-month break, not necessarily, I mean, I kind of wanted to. So it was actually good for me in some ways. Like, it let me take the time to get my certification and spend time with my family because it was during COVID and I was living with them and there was nothing else to do. So, in a lot of ways, my break was actually really good for me. And I came back with a little bit of a vengeance, a little bit of a like, all right, like, I'm ready to get back to where I was. I'm ready to start showing again. Like, I came back excited. And I think if you're kind of at a point where you're not excited, then something needs to change. Something in your environment needs to change in order for you to be excited again.
Yes.
And maybe that environment change is not going out to the barn for a while. You know what I mean? Like, you need to really take a harsh look and see what you need and try to give yourself what you need.
Yeah, exactly. I think that you hit the nail on the head with all of that, of just being patient and giving yourself grace and allowing it to happen because, I mean, look at you. You came back and you are, as we said earlier, it is multiple facets of your life revolve around horses now. And it's so
Mhm.
good that you didn't just give it up altogether, but you took that break and were able to regroup and say, okay, we're going to run in this direction now. And then you went full speed.
Yeah. 100%. Have you ever been at a point where you wanted to quit?
Yes. Yes. There was a point in time where I had a living quarters trailer. I had two horses. They were both 3-year olds at the time. I had a lot of equipment and honestly, I sold my living quarters trailer. I said, I'm not going down the road anymore. So, maybe your trainer should have had a talk with me and said, hey, maybe Lauren, you shouldn't do that because right now I'm sitting in a living quarters trailer at a horse show. So obviously, maybe I should have kept that thing. But I sold a horse, which was the one that we had talked about earlier. Yeah, I loved him. He was phenomenal, like super talented. But that ended up working out in the end and being a good thing because he went and made her dreams come true. But I really, truly was almost a little bit angry with the horses because of the way that it was impacting like my personal life. And then I realized that the horses weren't necessarily the issue. They were just the kind of circumstance surrounding maybe other things. But it was okay because I did take a break from showing for a little while immediately after that. And I knew that I would come back at some point, but it was tough. At first, it was a little depressing because all these major horse shows were going on. I was living vicariously through Facebook and the horse show tracker app. And it was kind of a little bit of an unhealthy and kind of toxic obsession of just like, oh, Natalia won this, or oh man, so and so did that. And I was just be like, man, I really wish I could be out there. But then it started evolving into, oh my gosh, Natalia won. Oh my gosh, Kalina won. I am so happy for them. And so I think that's a big thing that maybe we could have talked about earlier is when you have to step away, find a way to be excited for the people that you know and celebrate their wins and successes, even when you're not in that stage of your life, because it made my outlook so much happier when I could get excited for them winning rather than saying, man, I don't think I will ever win again.
I think that that's a really good and unique perspective to have. So, is cheering on other people what kept you from leaving?
Um, no. What kept me from leaving was I just generally had a I feel like it is somehow ingrained in my soul to do this dang horse thing. And as much as I wanted to leave it, I couldn't. I couldn't. It just was a part of who I
Yeah.
was. The community obviously is a really big part, which you were kind of just alluding to. But the biggest thing is I just love the challenge of working towards something bigger every single day and being able to build on it.
I think that everything that you just described is why we get along so well because I'm the same way. I really did truly want to leave, but there was a part of me that I knew would never be happy and never be fulfilled if I didn't have the horses. And while I said earlier, it's important for you to be able to stand up on your own without the horses, I could live a life without horses, but I don't want to. And I think that's an important distinction and you want to try to get to a point where you're in horses because you want to be, not because you have to be.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
You know, and I think that that distinction really I was able to feel the difference on when I took my step away as well. Because before, I really truly thought that I had to have horses. And that almost made me a little bit bitter too towards the horses because I was like,
Yeah.
I have to do this. And then it became like, oh, I have to do this. And so that was hard. But I really think that once I took it away willingly, I took it away and said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't need this. Then I realized, actually, you know what? I really want this. And because I want it, I am going to go after it in the right way. And anytime that it feels like it is running me and I'm not running it, I'm going to take a step back and say, okay, let's reevaluate this because this isn't why I got back into it. I got back into it for the love of the horse, for the love of the process. And if that's not my priority, then I need to take a step back again.
We are so similar in that same way. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, and it's a way more fun, like, way to be involved with the horses and to do this all. It makes it so the win is great, but it's not necessary, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Like, for example, like the level 1 championships are happening, in a couple weeks, and I got to show there last year, but I am not showing this year, but I'm still going. And I'm going because I want to go, because I want to support my team, support my barn. I have so many clients that are going to be there showing. So I'm going to set up a booth. I'm going to be there vendoring. I'm going to be there working the whole time. I'm going to be cheering on my clients, cheering on my barn, and it's because I genuinely want to be there. Like I don't want to just sit at home. I want to go to the horse show. So
Yeah.
even though I'm not showing, which I'm a little sad about, I'm still going to go and still going to support my team. So I think that but I'm going because I want to, not because I feel like I have to. Like earlier you were talking about how, you were watching the live stream and checking horse show tracker with an obsession, like then you're doing things because you feel like you have to. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going because I feel like I have to, because I'm worried that I'm going to miss out on the fun and that sort of, and miss out on experiences. Going just
Right.
because I want to be in the environment. I want to be there supporting everybody else. So, you know, there's a there's a difference in the mindset there.
Yes, big difference. And one is enjoyable and one feels like you're a ball and chain.
Yeah. Am I gonna be a little bit sad when like the horsemanship and the showmanship goes? Maybe. Maybe just a little bit. But I'm still gonna be happy to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And our final question of the day is from a very busy listener. They have kids, a full time job, and of course, horses. It's really hard for them to find a full hour to work out. Their office space has a gym, so their question is, are they able to split their 3-day, 1 hour workout over the course of 5 to 6 days and still get results?
So yes and no. So pretty much yes. So if you could only work out for 30 minutes a day, that is fantastic. That is still enough to get you to see results. For example, I've got a client that works out with me 3 days a week, every week, like no excuses, 3 days a week, every week. Her entire workout, beginning to end, is only 30 minutes. And she's impressed with how much stronger she is, how much more stability she has, how much more endurance she has. Like, she's told me that she is kind of amazed that she's seen as much results as she has because she only does 30 minutes. But it's because she does it consistently. That's the part that I want to iterate. So if she did, 30 minutes once a week here and twice a week here and 4 times a week here, like if she was inconsistent, then she would not be seeing those results from the 30-minute workouts. Now, I will say the way that this question was worded was, am I able to split my 3-day, 1 hour workout over the course of 5 to 6 days? That's the piece where that part is not going to work out so well. So if you have an hour-long workout, beginning to end, and you try to split it up without altering it at all, and you try, like, you just say, I'm going to do the first half of the workout on Monday and the second half of the workout on Tuesday, that's the part that's not going to work out very well. Because even if you're only working out for 30 minutes, sorry, but you still have to warm up and you still have to cool down. Like, you can't just start a workout and do the front half to the middle, and then the next day pick up the middle to the end. And you also can't do that like in the morning and the night. So you can't do the first half of the hour workout in the morning and the second half of the hour workout at the end of the day. But what you can do is design your workouts so they're 30 minutes long, and you can have multiple different types. So that client that I was mentioning earlier, she has 3 different types of workouts. She has a full body, an upper body, and a lower body. Like, I'm not splitting up her workouts in a way where it's like, okay, like we have this hour-long workout, and on Monday we're going to do the first half, and on Wednesday we're going to do the second half. Like, it doesn't work like that. You have to have a warm-up, you have to have a cool down, and, like having your workouts align with your schedule is really, really important. So if you create a workout that's an hour long and you never have an hour to complete it, then that workout is not set up for your schedule. You're never going to see results out of it. So you need to make sure that you're setting your workouts up in a way that you are going to be successful in. Because like I said earlier, you can create the perfect workout plan, but if it doesn't work for you and you're not going to do it, then it's not the perfect workout plan because you're not doing it. If you're not doing it, it doesn't matter what it says on paper. The paper is not going to be what gets you the results. It's the work that you put in that's going to get you the results.
Yes, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head with all of that. I will say I'm a little guilty of being like, oh, is there any way that I can split a workout? But exactly what you
No,
said.
ma'am.
I know. Yeah. And thankfully you've preached that to me. I do have one the follow-up question to this one.
Yeah.
Let's say I had 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night. Could I split that 1 hour routine on the same day into 2 different ones?
No, you can't.
Okay.
Because like I said, you have to have a warm up and you have to have a cool down. And remember, I don't remember if it was on a podcast or in a workout session. You asked, can you, during your leg day, like you finish the workout and then can you spend 15 minutes going and doing house chores and then do your stretching? And I said, no. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because well, you've already kind of basically
So
down and stiffened up. So no.
yeah, because so the point of the warm up is to prepare your body for exercise. I honestly, going to public gyms is really challenging for me because I'll see these like big, really strong macho people. It's usually the guys. And they come in and they maybe like swing their arms around like 2 times and then they go and put a bunch of plates on the bench or a bunch of plates on the squat rack. And it drives me nuts. I'm like, your body is not warmed up for exercise and you're not going to get anything out of your workout and you're going to get injured. Like, it drives me nuts. And then same thing with the cool down. They put the weights back and then they just walk right out. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you have to cool down. So like I said, the warm up is there to warm your body up for exercise. You don't get on your horse on the mounting block and immediately lope off, right? You walk a couple laps, you do some bending exercises, you start at, a walk on contact, and then you move up to a jog, and then you move maybe into a posting trot, and then you lope. Like, you warm your horse up, and you do that for a purpose. You do that so they can warm up their body, and it's the same thing for you. your warm up and your cool down is a very essential part of the workout. It is not something that is advisable to skip or omit. So that's why you can't have breaks in between them. Because if you hit legs in the morning and if you don't stretch till the evening, then your stretching pretty much did nothing. Like the stretching is there to relieve the tension in the muscles that you built up during the workout. So if you wait hours or really any extended period of time, I think, 5-10 minutes is probably fine. But if you wait an extended period of time, those muscles, they've already tightened up by then. So you have to release the tension right after you work them. It's the same thing with the carrot stretches. Your vet probably tells you to do it right after you get off your horse. There's a reason for that.
Yes, absolutely. And I've noticed a big difference because I will admit there's been a few times where I've just had to zoom off. And let me tell you, your cool down is very important. And I can feel a difference, especially the next day when I do that cool down.
And it's not just for your muscles, it's for so many things. Your body temperature needs to come down gradually. Your heart rate needs to come down gradually. Like, those are also two very important things for making sure that you're not getting like excess swelling, excess inflammation, that, like it's for more than just post workout soreness. So, no, I'm sorry. You can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So if your workout needs to be, so like let's say that you have an hour long workout and you only have 45 minutes to get it in. Instead of skipping the warm up or the cool down, you need to take out parts of the actual workout itself. So if your upper body workout has 2 sets for everything, just make it 1 set for that day. Or maybe you do fewer reps or lighter weight. That way you can do it quicker. Like whatever you need to do, but you still have to warm up and you still have to cool down. And I'm sorry if that doesn't leave very much time for your workout. But like I said, it is possible to get a full 30-minute workout, warm up, cool down included in 30 minutes. You have to be quick. You can't be messing around and, you got to move on from one exercise to the next. It's intense, but it's possible. I promise.
Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. Find us on Instagram and Facebook, all linked in the podcast notes. We'll see you next time. The information provided by Elevate Your Ride is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical or professional advice. While we discuss health and fitness topics related to equestrians, the content provided through this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. The views expressed by the host and guests on Elevate Your Ride are their own and should not be taken as professional guidance. We strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, but we cannot guarantee that the information will be applicable to every individual listener or that it reflects the most current research or guidelines. Before making any changes to your health and fitness routine, we strongly recommend consulting with a qualified professional who can provide personalized advice based on your individual needs and circumstances. Elevate Your Ride and its creators will not be liable for any direct, indirect, consequential, special, exemplary, or other damages arising from the use of information on this podcast. Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. We are committed to providing high quality content and appreciate your trust in us as a source of information for your health and fitness journey.